So the time has come for chum. I have gone around the map and collected 40 more of these chum eggs, which puts us at a total of 100, which is the last I am going to do. Now, that language might sound oddly specific. The last you're going to do, Dylan? What do you mean by that? Well, in a moment, you will see what I mean by that as we turn in these chums to the Chum Queen. I greet the Queen Chum. The Queen asks me if I have the eggs for her. My, egg bringer. My children, they dance with excitement at the treasures you bring. More friends to dance and play. I have to admit, collecting chums has been a more satisfying task than I initially thought. That's true. I hand over the next batch of eggs with excitement. Now I think to myself, I'll be having one of those precious tears, please. Now, child, a little patience. Woohoo! More stamina, let's go! It's a half a thing. Of course it's a half a thing. The warmth of the chum's tear pulses inside my chest and spreads through my limbs. Another 20, please. I promise that's the last batch. Oh, okay. So we do these one batch at a time. That's great news. I greet the Queen Chum. The Queen asks me if I have eggs for her. You've done it. You are our champion. I feel excitement and pride well up inside me as my arms shoot up in celebration. That was great. Now, child, open your heart to me. There we go. Yeah. Look at all that stamina. Sick. Well done, Sable. I think I have no more tears to cry. You don't realize it, but you've done us quite the service. There haven't been this many chums brought together in ages. And since you've been so helpful, we will use our collective power to give you a gift. In the chest, you'll find a mask. It will help guide you to even more of my children. Bring as many as you find. We have a happy home here now, thanks to you. I thank the Queen profusely and celebrate my new acquisition. Well, that's the first door open, so that's good news. Chum Mask, a gift from the Queen Chum. This mask reacts whenever you're close to a chum that hasn't been found yet. That looks ridiculous. But yeah, so there's this door and this door, and they require 40 and 25 more eggs respectively, for a total of 165 throughout the game. I'm not gonna do that. I don't wish to scour the game to that extent. I'm happy with my stamina. I'm happy we got the mask. As much as I still am only going to wear the one. Now, I do have some thoughts on this. Primarily, you should get this game yourself and play it. It's a good game. It is a very good game. And if I were not playing this for, you know, an audience, I would probably go collect those 65 others. Because just exploring around in this game is really fun. And if you really want it, there is a map that has all of the chum locations on it. So you can just go to those places and marvel at the little nooks and crannies that you missed, which certainly there are some that I have missed. And the amazing views at the different places where the chums are hiding. That is an option, and I would recommend it. It's time-consuming, for sure, but this is a very relaxing game to just sort of play and explore in and just enjoy the environment in. I just don't think that's particularly good viewing, and most of my video game time is spent here on stream or on YouTube, and I personally would rather spend my time playing a game that I can share with all of y'all. And it's not like a guilt trip. That's not a, oh, I wish I could do it. No, like legitimately, honestly, I'm going to have more fun completing Sable and moving on to another game that I can play on stream and on YouTube than I would have just going around the environment here and finding those last 65 chums. Woo! Now, there is another option. There's another option because the save file, and I'm not going to do this. Ooh, that's a weird sound. But the save file for this game is saved in plain text. So you can just go into your save file. Like, I could just go in and set the number of chum eggs that I have to 65 and go back and unlock those. And I'm not going to do that. But if you are playing the game and find that you just do not have the wherewithal to collect all 165, which, you know, I can't really blame someone for that. But you really want to see what happens, and you can't find a good video of it on YouTube or something, then you can just go in and edit your save file to give you more eggs in your inventory. I will admit I almost did it for this. I almost was like, fuck it, set my eggs to 105, let's go. But one, I didn't know if it was going to split up the dialogue to, you know, chunks of 20 and whatnot. Or if it would just cut straight to the end, which fortunately it doesn't cut straight to the end. That's great. And I felt like it was better to just tell y'all to get this game and play it yourself. Because it's a good game. And I think the developers deserve to have more people buy and play their game. I think they deserve the recognition and financial compensation that comes with that. So, those are my thoughts. Gosh, it is wild to me how much this tower looks like the Hikaric Rings, which, speaking of, has this quest turned over yet? A few days it says. I have given the machinist a few days. How many days is a few? But there's another quest, actually, that we just missed and accidentally skipped to the end of, over here in Ecria. So I'm gonna go get the start of the quest so that we can go do it. Nice skull carving on the wall here. Alright, hello! Hello, person that we haven't met. Sharvorana introduces herself. She's the Atomic Priest in Ecria. The Atomic Priest leans forward in a way that they must think is inviting. And I suppose they're right, because here I am. Glider, we've a task for you if you're able and interested, of course. Gliders tend to be interested in tasks. I've never known quite how to feel about the Atomic Priesthood. As a child, I had been both fearful and fascinated, watching them go about their mysterious business and making up all kinds of things about them in my head. Today I understand that they are an order like any other, only more severe, more insular, and dedicated to collective caution in a way that increasingly feels more like paranoia than reason. Still, I do mostly like a task. Are you familiar with Lore the Fabulist? Why, yes. We need you to find Lore, and when you do, convey that we would like to invite her back to Ecria. We miss her. Quite a lot, in fact. It may be the most emotion I've heard from a member of the priesthood, and it seems quite legitimate. I wonder what sort of relationship Lore has with them. Tell me more about Lore. Ask them to tell me more about Lore. She has been among our strongest voices, turning warning into whimsy and safety into song. She speaks the language of the common to convey the words of the wise. Where do you think Lore is? If you aren't sure where to start, it may be wise to speak with the innkeepers at the beetle stations. Lore carries our messages all across the world. I thank them for the advice and wave goodbye. Farewell, Glider. Okay, goodbye. Ooh, loot. Not that we need it, but whatever. That said, we know exactly where Lore is. You know, we could go around. We're gonna drive. We're gonna drive because we need time to pass. We need time to pass for the stinking quest. So I'm not gonna fast travel. Where did we leave Simone? Over here? I think. Yeah. Out of the water, please. Thank you. And south. Just so much south. For YouTube, I'll probably edit ahead just because, ooh, this is quite the drive. Oh, I found Lore camping out in the Salt Plains. I should go and tell her she's wanted in Ecria. Cool! So, it's nice that they actually, the quest recognizes that we've found her previously. It's a nice touch. Instead of still recommending that we go talk to each of the beetle innkeeper folks. It's interesting to me that the innkeepers have the beetle masks, because they, like, give you beetle quests, but they're not, like, beetle keepers. Like, that's not their job. Their job is to take care of an inn. So it's not really clear to me why their masks are beetles? Like, in the narrative, in the fiction of the world, why they have those masks. I wonder if there are other quests that we've missed out and about. I feel like we've done a lot of them. And, I mean, we have all of the badges. And the reason we missed that quest is simply because it unlocks after you have turned the atomic heart back on. But I did my big exploration of Ecria before we went and did that. So I think that this game has done a better job of telling a linear story in a non-linear game than, I mean, frankly, just about any other game that I've played. But specifically, better than Breath of the Wild did. Which, I have not yet played Breath of the Wild on this channel, and I do plan to eventually. But one of my complaints with that game is in how it has structured its like story. It wants you to be able to pick up the beginning, middle, and end of Link's story, no matter what order you do the different zones in. Oh, we might not make it all the way up this. No, tragic. Okay, we're gonna have to come at it from some other pillar, I guess. Yeah, from over here, maybe? So you get, like, with Link's, I guess this is spoilers for Breath of the Wild, but not huge spoilers. With Link's amnesia, you get sort of the early days with a given pal in whatever region you're in. Sort of the middle of that story and then the end of that story. But at the same time, what you're getting is the beginning, middle, and end of the overall Hyrule story. But you get that storyline in all 4 of the different zones. Which means that you get that story 4 times throughout the game. And it's a little repetitive. And it means that the story itself is pretty small. Like, the story of Breath of the Wild is very small. Especially compared to other Zelda games. It is super short. The game itself, big game. The story, small. Which is unfortunate, because it's like an interesting story with some of the most interesting versions of characters like Link and Zelda, I think. And so it would have been great to have something like this, where there's an overarching story that progresses with each zone that you go to, and then these smaller, more contained stories in each place. Also, this sound plays whenever you're near one of these statues, and it's freaky. Hello, lore. I have a message for you. Greetings, Glider. If I had any doubts that I would recognize the fabled lore, they vanish at the sight of her mask. A face turns. You're looking for me, aren't you? The Atomic Priesthood is looking for you. I tell Lore that I'm here on behalf of the Atomic Priesthood. I see, then. Glider, you've come here to carry me away, to end my walk, to make me talk about how I've gone astray. I'm not sure what to say next, and certainly not in rhyme, so I give a sort of playful shrug. Lure shakes her head and looks to the skies, her mask shifting away. I know why the priesthood wants me. Truth be told, I miss them as well. I wait for the next verse, but apparently this is just talking. Why did you leave Ecria? The city's great, I love it so, but something troubles me. I've grown so fond of the world beyond, there's so much more to see. She shrugs. Good rhymes, nice. Will you return then? I ask Laura if she's going to go home then. The priests give me a good life. I spread their word, they treat me like a queen, but there's still something wrong. I'm at an impasse. I ask what kind, and she doesn't answer. What is your name? I tell her it's Sable. Sable. As a glider, you might have a particular insight into what I am seeking. For what I desire is to choose a path, and you are very much on the same journey. Do you think you could help me? I tell her yes, but it's absolutely a secret maybe bordering on a doubtful. The Atomic Priesthood, however strange and severe, have given me a very comfortable life. I speak their truth, I spread their word, and, well, frankly, I stop them being so bloody boring all the time. She crosses her arms. For that, they treat me wonderfully. I get anything I want, so long as I use my gifts to convey their message. It sounds stifling. It does. It does. It does, it does. But it also means that I get to live a charmed life, and certainly more charmed than most who make their living telling stories and singing songs. It's wonderful, really. So now I wonder, should I return to Ecria? No. Laura dismisses me again. No, 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 it isn't that easy, Sable, don't you see? I've spent these weeks wandering the vastness of the desert, traveling through towns and encampments, through ruins and wonders, asking myself questions. And I've narrowed it down to the 3 most significant questions for which I have no answers. Perhaps, if you can help me. I tell her, yes, sure, of course, please. Thank you. You have a glider's wisdom. Laura draws me closer, and I look deep into the eyes of her mask. Sable, glider, what is the value of art? Is it spreading truth, or is it spreading joy? It's quite a start. And tell her that the value of art is... Ooh. Interesting. I think truth, personally. I think the value of truth is being able to... Or the value of joy... Woo! The value of art. There we go. I think there is joy and truth in a lot of art. But I think the value of art, beyond just, you know, the act of creation being a thing that returns value to the creator. And I think also the act of consuming art, whether it's viewing things or hearing things, is having something, you know, given to you that you couldn't do yourself. Even if, like, theoretically you could. You didn't, right? It's about the exchange to an extent. For me. Now, does art have to have value? No, you can make art sans value, and that's fine. But I think there is, at its core, a communication in art. Whether that's intentional communication or subconscious. Even at times when people have attempted to make art that communicates nothing, they are communicating something. They are saying something. It's impossible, I think, to create art that doesn't communicate. And again, whether that communication is clear or muddy, is, you know, that changes piece by piece. So, yeah, I think in the end, my answer to this question is truth. My concern is that I don't think the value of art is in telling other people's truth, necessarily. And there's an irony to that as a freelance graphic designer, where my job is to communicate other people's messages. Like, that's a thing. But, you know, that's not my most fulfilling work. And it's not necessarily my best work, either. Some of my best work has been commissioned work, but a lot of it has been personal stuff. And frankly, I think a lot of my best work isn't even graphic design. So, yeah, I think truth. I say it's truth, and Laura nods vigorously. A fabulist in coarser words is one who peddles lies, but I have found a way around, giving warning to the wise. Fascinating, Sable. Really helpful. Was it? Next question. When you are faced with a challenge, how do you approach it? Do you value caution or safety? Well, what I am definitely not going to say is that I thought they were much the same thing. Instead, I do think they're much the same thing. Actually, no. Caution, I think, comes with hesitance. You can be confident and safe. But I think caution... I think safety also implies a reservedness here. God. The shades of connotation here are so murky. I think caution. I think if you were to, if you're looking at this in terms of art, right? The safe choice is one that isn't, you know, it's not pushing boundaries. It's not taking chances, right? It's doing something that you know is safe. But I think exploration with caution is good. I tell her I think that caution is more important than safety. Caution, interesting, and you didn't even have to think. Perfect. Oh, I had to think super hard about that. Lore clears her throat. When I first left my home and was bound for the sand, I knew not what I'd find as I walked this great land. But I knew that in going, I'd risk soul and skin, so I wore caution out and lit fire within. New rhyme scheme there, I like it. Lore nods. Versatility. You've been so helpful, Sable, thank you. The last question is probably an easy one for you, still on your gliding. Why do we explore? What drives us? Are we seeking our purpose, or are we indulging in our freedom? To be fair to Lore, this one gives me pause. It's danced around my thoughts now and again, but not in so many words. I wonder, is my purpose as a glider to see all places, or is it to find my place? I think on it and offer an answer. The purpose of such exploration is to indulge your freedom. I think there's this weird false dichotomy between, to speak in very rough terms, individualism and collectivism, right? Where either everyone is their own full individual, no one owes anyone else anything, it's everyone for themselves. You know, there's that kind of individualism, which is pretty popular for some people, versus, you know, everyone has their role to play and they must fill that role, right? Like everyone must do their specific part for the overall machine, the goal of the collective. I don't really prescribe to either. I sort of personally, I think that everyone is their own individual person. I think when you try to treat people as completely interchangeable, right, as like they're just a part of the of a machine, they're a part of a whole, and not that a whole unto themselves, that you get into some weird bad stuff. You overlook a lot of things about people that makes them special and good, and like fascinating, interesting, and like good to get to know. You remove all of the rough edges and the fine details of a person, and in so doing, you rob yourself of the experience of a person, and you rob them of themselves. And I think that's bad. But at the same time, I think that sort of happens again when you say that all someone is their specific purpose in society, their business, their whatever, like whatever structure you want to fit a person into, whatever framework you want to use to assign people roles. When you break people down to specific roles, you do the same thing. And so one of my greatest discomforts playing this game has been the idea that eventually you find the one thing that you are going to do, and that is all you are. Or rather, that is all you can be, right? You can be more than your job in this world, clearly, but at the end of the day, you don't get to choose a different one later. You don't get to grow into something new. You will always be a climber, an innkeeper, a guard, a machinist. You know, you will always be that thing and never any other role. And that's uncomfortable for me. So I think the purpose of this gliding is not to necessarily find that role and decide on it forever. I think it's to give in this world where you rigidly decide on one thing to be. I think it is about embracing and enabling this period of time where you get to be everything. That's what I think. I tell Lore that the point is to indulge our freedom. Fascinating. She breathes in. Our hearts are such impatient things. They hate to be told no. So we seek out time while we're in our prime, but it's space we need to grow. Lore pauses after this last. I hear the wind blow past, and then suddenly she claps. Well, that settles it. I think I've made up my mind, but I'll need another night or so to think on it. I ask Lore if she's going back to Ecria or not, and she laughs. I find myself liking her laugh quite a lot. I'll find out tomorrow. Thank you, Sable, for listening. You've been a very generous collaborator today, and I feel quite refreshed. Take this badge, a token of your contribution. She sits up straight. A glider named Sable, the fabulous Lore, shared something today on the sands. I put faith in her judgment, I'll trust in her brain, and my fate in her capable hands. Lore bows, and I must admit, I feel quite nice having heard that. Thank you, Sable. I know we'll meet again. I wish Lore the best and then tell her goodbye. I don't know if I helped, but I gave it a try. Oh no, she's got me doing it. Oh, that was great. I really liked that. Oh, she went back to Ecria. That's too bad. That does have me wondering, though. Are there more entertainers badges? Uh-oh. That, oh my goodness, there are. That means there are quests that we're missing. Oh, goodness. They appear to all be from Ecria, though. Do we already have one? I don't think so. I think that was our first. Yeah. Okay. So... Well, I guess we're gonna have to go get those then. Let's go back to Ecria. Hey, Sharvarana. Greetings, Glider. We don't know what you said to her, Glider, but we are grateful that you said it. Lore has returned with a renewed passion, and we credit you. So thank you, Glider, and be safe. Thanks. You're very welcome. You didn't even give me anything. I mean, she did, but y'all didn't. Atomic Priesthood is on my do-do list. Hello. Are you who I need to speak with? Hi there. I saw you get that flower over there. It's amazing. You're such a good hoverer. I can't wait for my gliding. I want to hover too. I look down at the child before me as they bob with excitement and tell them their gliding will be on them sooner than they know, and that then they'll be able to pick as many oasis flowers as they like. That's in forever. I need a flower now. Could you maybe give it to me, please? The flower? Please, please, please. It's all yours. I hand them the flower and they squeal with delight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They dig around in their pocket for a moment and pull something out. I expect it to be a little bug or some dirt or possibly an old toy, but instead they produce an entertainer's badge. Here, you're really nice, so you can have this. I ask if they wouldn't prefer to hang on to it. There's plenty of use for such things later. I get a shake of the head. I think this one's for you. I'll get my own one day. I tell them I'm sure they will and leave with a wave. See you later, Glider. Sick. Wow, did we just skip the docks entirely when we were out here? I guess we did. Can I talk to you? No. Huh. Looking for some people. I don't know where to look. You know, I should have looked this up. I wonder if there are other masks that we've completely skipped. No, not you. Maybe outside by the bridge? Out here? Doesn't really look like it. Oh, yo! What cool legs you have. Sick. Aha! Here we go. The huddled children giggle as I approach, the way children do. You're never quite sure whether they are entertained, nervous, or mocking. I decide not to let myself feel judged. You're a glider! Yes, indeed. They get excited at this and make small sounds amongst themselves. I found gliders thrilling too when I was a child, but somehow I feel slightly like an imposter, and a little bit proud. Do you want to play a game with us? Sure. Yay! The game is hide and seek. Do you know it? I think I might know it. I've played quite a bit. I tell them I used to play with a young friend of mine back home. They don't seem particularly interested in the story. I've never felt so old. Good. You're it. We'll go and hide, and you have to find us. I tell them to wait. Once I, the great worldly wise glider, cunningly track them down, how can I call them out if I don't know their names? Ha! Don't be so sure you'll find us. This is our town, remember? Well, anyway, I'm Paula. I'm Jeff. And I'm Nez. I tell them my own name. Then Paula points at me. Are you ready, Sable? You have to close your eyes and count to 100. No peeking and no skipping. And count slowly. What? I would never skip. Just start counting. 1. I close my eyes and start counting. 1, 2, 3, 57, 58, 97, 98, 99, 100. Alright, let's go find some kids. I have some ideas about where they might be hiding. They are just ideas. I have not looked up their locations. Is that one of them? Yep. Hi. Aw, you did find me. Glide and Seek. What a great quest name. Is that one of you? I don't think so. I think that's an adult. Figure we'll check the outside first. Like this. And then we'll go into some of the interior areas and see if any of them are hiding inside. Surprised there isn't one back here. Let's check upstairs, just to be sure. You were a child? You're not one of the 3 I'm looking for, though. Pardon me. Looking for missing children. Don't be concerned, they're missing on purpose. That doesn't sound much better. They're hiding from me. Well, that doesn't sound any better either. This is outside the city? No. Oh. Oh, hi. Oh, you found me. Are you sure you counted all the way to 100? That's 2. This is a cool area. What's this? Talk to me. What is this place? Are you making bricks? Making stuff out of mud? Whoa, 20 bucks. Okay, so we've got 2 of them. Will you tell me where your third is? I just think it's so boring. We should play something else. What other games do you know? Missing 1. Hey, bud. Yeah, I have money here. I have so much money. How much money do you need? This is getting a little ridiculous. Do you just take infinite money? Okay. There is interestingly, there is an entry. I saw that there is an entry for Lily in the save file. I didn't see what it's for. Aha, I found the last one, I think. But hilariously, so she's titled Beggar Lily, but it's B-E-G-G-E-R instead of B-E-G-G-A-R. I thought this was a really good hiding spot. You're smart for a grown-up. I take the compliment. You found the others first? Yes, that means I win. I found you all. Doesn't that mean I win? No, I don't think so. I definitely win. Anyway, you're pretty fun for a grown-up, so you can have this badge. You need 3 of these, then you can wear the entertainer's mask. I thank them for the game and the badge and say goodbye. As I leave, I feel a small pang in my heart. I miss Saima and the rest of the clan. I wonder what she'd think of me taking up the entertainer's mask. Might be something that's a little less locked down. Might be a good fit for Sable. I don't want to give Sable a profession that is going to sort of keep her in one place for, I guess, the Abexi travel. But, is this quest ready yet? Oh my god. Okay, we're going to drive back to Burnt Oak Station. Come on, Simone. Get in front of me. Okay, fine. I think that's just about due west, yeah. Very west and a little bit south. Nope, east. East is that direction. That one is the... yeah, it's east. Alright, Mask Caster. It's time. Climbing mask. I show my climbing badges to the Mask Caster. we go. Let's do that 2 more times. Let's do Merchant's Mask. We'll do Entertainer's Mask last. And last one. Congratulations to us. We now have all of the masks in the game. I went and double-checked during one of the cutscenes. Okay, let's read some descriptions, shall we? Chum Mask. A gift from the Queen Chum. This mask reacts whenever I'm close to a chum that hasn't been found yet. Climbing Mask. You can't help but feel embodied by a reptilian creature when wearing this mask. Walls look less steep somehow. Entertainer's Mask. Oh my god, ridiculous. A somewhat ridiculous looking mask, but I guess that's the point. I feel a levity looking at it. Wearing it in almost any situation makes the world feel a little warmer. A mask with 3 feathers from an eagle, worn by guards in Ecria mostly, but occasionally seen out in the dunes in special circumstances. The mask all merchants in Midden wear. Is that it? Is that all of them? It's a beetle mask. A mask made to resemble a Hercules beetle, made from intricately worked husks that feel hard and rock, but extremely lightweight. Hard as rock, maybe? That's what's meant there. But yeah, we have all of them now. That said, ooh, there was something that I discovered on my adventures that we had skipped, I'm pretty sure. So let's go do that while we wait for the machinist to have enough time. At the base of this balloon? Is it this one? Is this the right one? At the base of a balloon? Which balloon is it? Not this one. Just a moment. This one? No. This one. Yes. Take 2. So at the base of this balloon, there are some ruins. Where? Like, we kind of just climbed straight up right away. But there's stuff down here. Specifically, a face for us to open. in order for us to open this, I'm pretty sure we need to bring 3 little statues over here. So we're going to figure out where the statues are, how to bring them over. One of them, I already figured out. Because I was over here looking for chums. So we just grab this butterfly. So we see this door that we can't get through, but there's a little window that we can crouch through. Now, in here, there was a little basket, and there's this beetle statue just waiting for us, except the door is closed. So we can't do that, but there's a button over there. So if we just come out here, climb this wall like Spider-Man. And drop down. Boom, door's open. And we climb back up. And grab our statue. Easy. First one. The other one I saw, I don't quite remember where, or I saw a second one, I should say. Don't know where the third is. And that's going to be probably a bit of a struggle. Alright. That's one. Oh, is it right there? Oh, no, this is the second one that I saw. Gotta chuck it across this gap. Grab it. Chuck it across this gap. Put it in its spot. I don't know where the third is. Oh, this only goes here. Okay. So just tucked back there? No. Wouldn't that be convenient? See, there was one there. And one that way. Is one just hanging out over here? No. Let's climb up onto the roofs. Maybe looking down we'll see it. Or maybe it's up on one of these roofs. That's also a possibility, I suppose. Okay, so there was one there. There's one over there. Aha! It is on a roof. How the hell did you get up here? I have questions. All right. Yeah, what do we get? What do we get? Monumental stone top, an incredibly crafted piece of ritual clothing. It is awkward to wear, but hard to take your eyes off. Oh, it matches our pants. Cool. Weird glowy spacesuit. I I don't think I like this one as much. I wish more of the costumes, like more of the tops had capes. It's like there really is just the one that has a cloak. It just looks so cool. It looks more travel-y, looks more mysterious. It gives our character a more interesting silhouette. But alas, there is but the one. Alright, I guess let's drive back to this and hope that enough time passes by the time we get there that we can finish it. Alright, Fear. I've given you a few days. Please be done. Please be ready. Please. Upon seeing me, Fear all but leaps with excitement. Sable, I've been waiting for you. I decoded the final inscription. We were right. It was a game, a race, and you completed it exactly as intended. Do you know what that means? I won? Oh, you definitely won. Or more accurately, Simoon won. It barely registers with me that she uses Simoon despite never being introduced, and I don't get a chance to bring it up before she's going on. There's a prize, a real one. Once you complete the race, the pillars reveal the text. Translate the text, and you get bike parts. Incredible ones, older in their design than any I've ever seen, but perfectly elegant. You must try them, Sable, you must. I can fit the parts onto your own bike if you'd like to ride it now. Yes, please. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Hikaric ring bike front. Glowing rings pulse with perpetual energy, remnants of technology used by the Hikaris to harness the power of the perpetual remain. Sure. I've been liking this palette. Hikaric ring bike wings. Rings spin in counter movements to create a finely balanced suspension in the air. And Hikaric ring bike booster. A booster made from old schematics in Hikaric ruins. The Hikaris must have used similar designs to get around. It seems a little slow. This bike. Fear shakes her head and shrugs, but it's in the nice way. The way you do it, something so grand and so beautifully awe-inspiring that you can't help but feel small and sort of casually useless in its shadow. This bike is wonderful. I tell her I agree, and thank her for the opportunity to ride in an ancient race. I also explain that in playing their old game, I felt more connected to the past than I did hearing the drier bits of history. That's great, I mean it. That's great, I mean it. I don't know if I'm just a romantic or something, but I always have such a hard time connecting to the past without connecting to the people. Strange for a machinist, isn't it? I think about it. I suppose it is strange for a machinist, somehow, but I find it comforting, too. There really is room for all kinds behind all masks. I want you to keep the bike and bring it into a new era. Let it see how the world changed while it was sleeping. I don't ride much myself nowadays, so it'll be in good hands with you. And I get to be smug around other machinists, which is all the reward I really need. I thank Fear for her skill and generosity, and head off. Hell yeah! Ooh, it glows. Yum. It handles super tightly, which is nice. It makes cool noises. But it is a little slow. Like we're kind of just puttering along here. So we're gonna change out some of these parts. Let's make my dream bike here. Let's do it. Let's make the coolest bike I can think of. There we go. Yeah, this is good. It's pretty close to what we already had, but I like the zappies. I like having the zappies. And I think that actually completes everything. yeah, we have all of the masks. So many. We have done a ton of quests. We have done everything except the one where we have to work with the cops, and I'm just not gonna finish that one. So it's time for us to go home and pick a mask. Back to the ewer. Which, what a strange feeling. I'm honestly really sad about it, I think. This game has been so fun and interesting, and like this world is just so neat, and I don't know. I wish we got to spend more time in it, honestly. Which is not to say that this game has been too short, right? It hasn't. I don't think it's overstayed its welcome or necessarily understayed either. I think it's been a good length for what it's trying to do, which I have said in many previous playthroughs of other games that's really what I look for in a game. Is I want a game that is, I don't want a long game, I don't want a short game. I want a game that is exactly as long as it needs to be to do what it needs to do. But I think there's something sort of bittersweet to this stage in coming of age stories, and especially this one. It feels like a closing of possibilities for Sable, and that's a little sad. A little bittersweet. But I am excited to go back and see our family again, to see the Abexi and the end of this game. And it's so interesting, like we've built up so much stuff. We have like all these bike parts. We have a bunch of money still, even though we gave a ton of it to the beggar and Ecria. We have all these things that will be less useful to us in a world where we don't go around all the time. Let's see, where is everyone? Ibex camp. I guess maybe up there? But as much as I would like to imagine Sable choosing a life that will send her all around Midden all the time. One, the Abexi are already nomads, so it's not like she's going to be rooted in one place forever. And two, I think our constant companion through this game has been Simoon, our hover bike. And I think there's something special to that connection, and the connection between Sable and these machines and the machines of the past, with Saren, the AI entity, with the Hikari, right? Like, there just is... There's a connection between Sable and these machines, and so I will be picking Machinist for my playthrough. As the Ibex camp draws closer, the imagined threshold between home and gliding is palpable. It reminds me of coming in from a sandstorm, so fierce that the grains have whipped through the air and through your clothes. You peel off the layers of sand-beaten fabric and marvel at the dust on your skin, the bits that managed to get through despite every precaution. And though you feel so grateful to be home, and so comforted by the safety of the indoors, you can't help but smile, nostalgic as you wash the sand away. What an adventure you've had, and it was only for you. Am I ready to choose my mask now? There's no going back if I do. I'm ready. I think I'm ready. But am I really ready? Yeah. Definitely ready. Yes. Enough doubt. I know what I want, and it's time to make my choice. I should speak to Jotty when I am ready for the... What? I should speak to Jotty when I am ready for the choosing ceremony. Okay. Hi. I greet Sizzo. How do you do, clan child? How is your companion? A few bumpy moments. I would have been lonely without Simoon, yeah. Of course. The desert can be a desolate and sparse place. Traveling with a partner is the only way to keep the mind at peace. What will happen to Simoon now? Well, it's almost time for Saima's gliding. Simoon will likely accompany her across the dunes. I feel a pang of melancholy as I think about losing Simoon. It had to happen one day. Nobody truly owns a bike in the Ibexi, but is merely accompanied by one. I'm grateful to have at least had that blessing. Oh, that's really sad, actually. That chokes me up more than I think anything else about this. I met a lot of your machinist friends. I tell Sizzo I met a lot of her friends on my travels. I know this, and I hope they were good to you, and to Simoon. I tell her they were. She seems to take a bit of pride in that, which is rare to see in Sizzo. Some really great machinists out there. I like them a lot. I ask if Sizzo thinks I ought to choose the machinist mask, that I might join her order. She crosses her arms and takes time to think. Some will tell you that the life of machinist is lonely. It isn't. Not only because we are assigned to clans who so often welcome us into their number. No, it's more. It's because we are never truly alone. As you were never truly alone on your gliding, you went with Simoon. I think of the moments where I sat looking at some map, or hiding from some foul weather, or trying to get over a sudden bout of very powerful homesickness, and Simoon gave a little hum that I could feel up through my legs. You have a very special bike, Sable. I nod along with Sizzo. As you returned, I sat on the tower and heard Simoon's purr grow to a roar, and in it the traces of those whose work has helped give her shape. She speaks with many voices now. That resonance... Sizzo seems to shiver. It's why we do what we do. So if that appeals, then I can only recommend it. I thank Sizzo for her counsel. Farewell. So, you came back. Sayama crosses her arms, a challenge. I tell Sayama I had to come back because when I left, some minuscule little beetle-hunting, part-stealing menace threw a fit about it and couldn't stop crying because she missed me so much. She nods. Yes, Jowdy took it very hard. I can't help it. I laugh, and I think in so doing I let her win. I tell her I missed her. I miss you too, Sable. I'm happy you came back. Though I can practically see the pout beneath her mask, I'm impressed at how genuine she's able to sound. Even if you don't end up staying long. Are you going to cry if I leave again? I ask Sayama if she's going to cry again if I leave. I don't think so, for 2 reasons. She counts them off on her fingers. 1, because it's already happened once, so now I'm used to it. 2, because soon it's going to be my gliding, which I'm going to stay on forever, so I can just go on my bike and chase you down wherever you go. I tell Sayama she can't stay on the gliding forever, and that she'll have to choose a mask. Then I'll choose the mask of the bounty hunter. I say that isn't a real mask. Yes, it is. I say it's not. She shrugs. Guess you didn't find it. I tell her no, it isn't real, and that if it were real, I would have found it. Don't think so. It's really hard to find, that's part of it. To become a hunter, you have to be a hunter. I ready my next response, but choose to hold my tongue lest I lose what maturity I gained on my gliding. Sayama makes a broad gesture that I think is meant to emulate the knocking of an arrow in a bow. Good luck, Sable. I'm thinking of choosing the beetle mask. I ask what Sayama would think if I chose the beetle mask. I think you'd look pretty silly, but you'd look silly in every mask. Good. Love that. Missed this one. Definitely. I think it would be a little like getting to play all the time and have a lot of pets. Plus, maybe you get to speak beetle language. I always see beetles go up to each other and do dances and click around and hiss and everything, and maybe they're saying things. So if you want to speak beetle, you could do that. She shrugs. I don't know. All masks are different, and it's not really going to matter once I'm on my gliding and get to come and visit you. I ask Sayama if she means come and bother me. If you're bothered, that's you, but I'm going to come and visit. I can't help but laugh. I tell her I'm looking forward to it. Bye then. Hello, Sable. Is there something I want to discuss with Driss? How's the clan been? I asked Driss how it's been managing the clan while I was gone. Chaotic as ever, which I think you should be pretty happy about. I asked Driss why he thinks I'd want that for him. Because it means it wasn't you. Well, of course it wasn't. Out of respect, I decide not to tell Driss that it may indeed be him who is at the heart of so much chaos. Instead, I simply assert it very clearly wasn't me. Well, you never know. You're still young, and youth usually comes with its share of chaos, or at least it should. Anyhow, you're off the proverbial hook. How nice for me. I tell Driss I'm considering the Scrapper's Mask and ask what he thinks about that. The Scrapper's Mask? You? Really? I'll tell you, Sable, I wouldn't have pegged you for it, but you've always had quite the imagination, haven't you? More of an inner monologue. Yes, well, I think that's a good trait for a scrapper. You need to be able to see the beauty in the scraps, you know? And that takes a very creative brain. I think a lot of folks see scrappers and think they're just rubbish pickers, you know? But if you can look at something old and dream up something new, then I think you've got it, and I'd support you every scrap of the way. I thank Driss for his advice. I'd like to relitigate the sandcutter incident. I asked Driss, once and for all, if on that fateful day of my gliding, he had actually forgotten to help out with my bike, and if the test ride on the sandcutter was a sly cover-up. He cocks his head. What are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. I tell Driss that he knows very well what I'm talking about, but he shakes his head. No idea. I remember the whole bike thing going very smoothly. Plus, you took that sandcutter out, and you didn't even get a little bit on fire. Great stuff. I accept Driss's response. I suppose even the gliding cannot be the answer to all things. See you later. So many people. Hey, Sable. It's strange how children change so much over such a short period. Ilaria has grown, but she'll always be a child to me. You've grown. Ilaria subconsciously stands a little taller and prouder as I say the words. I can't help but smile, remembering all the times adults would say, "Oh, how you've grown," to me as a child. Well, you've not grown at all. I haven't just grown, I can climb way higher now. Zeki hates it. It's great. Not all growth is external. It feels like a hollow defensive statement, but it's also true. Ilaria doesn't look convinced. Sayama will leave for her gliding soon, but at least you'll be back now. I don't have the heart to tell her that I might not stay with the Ibexi. There's still time to decide, so I hold back. Did a lot of climbing out there. Oh! How high did you go? Did you touch a cloud? If I had a gliding stone, I would definitely touch a cloud. I reveal that I got the climbing mask. Ilaria seems to vibrate with excitement and jealousy. I can't believe it! You have to choose it. You will choose it, right? I mean, why wouldn't you? That would just be silly. I don't think I'll get a word in here, so I just let Ilaria effusively speak at me for a while, enjoying her passion for something so particular. Being a climber is a pretty solitary existence for the most part, mostly foraging for things that grow in the higher climbs, fixing or salvaging from ships in high places. But the sights you see, the places you get to go, it'll be like a continual gliding at times. Will I be comfortable at those heights without the gliding stone? Oof. Bye. My child, welcome home. Have you been taking care of yourself? You look rather bony. Are you well? Zeki fusses over me. She would always look for reasons to care for us. That's no good at all. Not at all. We'll have to fix you up with some of Jotty's lamb stew. I'm involuntarily salivating at the thought. It's good to be back. Where have you been? After you left, we headed to some older Ibexi campsites, places we used before you were born. Going back, it was beautiful. The land flourishes when you leave it for so long. Each place transformed with life and abundant with things to forage since we were last there. Once we leave the ewer, we will not be coming back for a long time. It needs to recover from nourishing us. I might choose the entertainer's mask. Oh, an entertainer's mask. I see you were kept busy with young ones on your gliding too. Everybody needs a bit of levity now and then. It's an important part of life, valued by many. But you know the Ibexi are not in a position to accommodate such trifles. Fun and games are just that. If you pick this mask, you'll have to find a richer clan to join. We can't afford it. I hope you think carefully about what mask you choose, Sable. Oof. This decision is getting harder. Oh, Sable! It's so good to have you home. I've thought about you so much, just imagining all the excitement. Every time we passed a cliffside, I thought, I bet Sable's just hovering everywhere. What do you think of the climber's mask? Ask Hilal what they think of the climber's mask. They light up straight away, which I think I should have expected. A brilliant mask. There's a lot of really good masks, obviously, but climbing? If you ask me, the worst part of the gliding's end is losing the perpetual stone. To hover forever, to fear nothing from heights or falls, that is an uncommon freedom, and you have to let it go. To me, climbing is the closest thing one gets to keeping that connection between oneself and the perpetual. Just as the stone does, it banishes fear and risk, lets you explore the world's great vertical spaces with knowledge and fortitude. I think it's a great mask, and probably would have been my choice had I not fallen so much in love with the Ibexi. I thank Hilal for their thoughts, and again for the stone they gave me so long ago. Have you heard of Lore the Fabulist? I asked Hilal if they've heard of Lore the Fabulist. Oh, of course I have. Not much for travel, you know, but not 2 years ago I made a special trip to Ekria just to see her. Why? I tell Hilal I met her out in the desert, and that we spent a whole evening talking about life and poetry. I add that I think I may have inspired some original work. That's amazing, so you think... Sorry, I'm so excited. So you think it's possible that the next time I see Lore, she might actually read a poem that you inspired? I say yes, that is quite possible. I just remembered that all those poems from the beginning of the game were from Lore. just remembered. This is why we're talking to Hilal about her. Oh. Now that is a gliding. Who cares what mask you choose? You got to hover around the world and you inspired Lore the Fabulous to write a new poem. If I were you, I'd put on my retirement mask because I'd be done. We laugh together and it feels really, really good. I should catch up with the others. Of course. Welcome back. I don't remember the last time I heard Umar speak. Maybe to yell a warning, but never to converse. It takes me a moment to think of something to reply. How have you been? Umar shrugs silently. I think that's all I'm going to get from him on that. Did you miss me? He emits a low grunt in what sounds like a chuckle. I think that means he missed me. Well, we have to pick a mask. Okay. Let's look at these and think for a second. Most of these involve leaving. Cartographer's mask will have to leave. Climbing mask will have to leave. Machinist's mask, it seems like we'll have to leave. We're going to lose Simoon either way, it seems. And there's already a machinist here, so we would likely be assigned to someone else. Entertainer's mask, we would leave. Guard's mask, we'd have to go to Ekria. Beetle mask, maybe we would get to stay, but it's unclear. Merchant's mask, also unclear. Scrapper mask, I think we'd have to leave. So maybe we pick Climber. Climbing is fun. It's a thing that we did a lot of in this game. I don't know. Maybe we pick... Can we pick one of the other non-job masks? Can we pick the Sandworm mask? The Shade of Ekria? It's tough. I think if we go with the climbing mask, we get to stay and forage. I wish there's an Ibexi mask here that Hilal and Driss wear, and I wish that were an option. Like, can we just stick with? What is this? Is this a yeah? Can we just stick with the Ibexi mask? Is that an option? If so, I'm gonna take it. Being back with the Ibexi is more comfortable than I expected. I think I thought the gliding would change every part of me, and that I would come home different. Perhaps more mature, or more jaded, or at least able to grasp more of Driss's jokes or Hilal's poetry. The actual change is more subtle, and it's that, somehow, despite spending so much time discovering the world beyond, I've never felt more like a part of this clan. And it isn't about being Ibexi, or which mask I ultimately choose. It's simply that I no longer feel so behind everyone, or like they know some grown-up secret I yearn to understand. I feel embraced, holy, as the person I am. Sable. So, now we've heard your stories, or at least the ones you're happy to tell. That means it's nearly time now. Jadi's sigh is contented. Contented? I suspect that she was more concerned with my experience of the gliding than the grand choice at its end. For that, I am grateful. Are you ready to choose? Am I? Maybe I should choose the Ibex mask. I tell Jadi that, after everything, I am thinking about choosing the Ibex mask and staying with the clan. You'd be welcome to stay with us. I know there's a lot of pressure to choose something else. So much that it sometimes feels boring to choose the very mask you started with. But all of us were gliders once, and certainly not all of us were Ibexi when we started. We are those who walk in hoof steps and seek our freedom in the desert. We know movement, the flow of migration, the joy of changing skies and shifting sands. We embrace difference and celebrate connection all at once. I'm proud to be Ibexi. And you may be too. I thank Jadi for putting it so nicely. She leans in for a whisper. And if you aren't, you can still come visit. I won't tell. Well, I guess that settles that then. I tell Jotty I am ready. She nods. I won't keep you, Sable. If you know what you want, then all I desire is to learn what that is, and celebrate it with you. I am allowed to be excited too, aren't I? She chuckles. Whenever you're ready, proceed to the temple. Ugh! Okay. Okay. To the Temple of Rowana. One last time. Come on, Simoon. Cutscene. Interesting. I suspect there's animation happening in that cloud of dust that we're missing. Oh. Maybe not. Goodbye. Come back. I want to drive you. It's a short distance, but come on. Silly bike. You've been kind of a pain in the ass this whole game though, so why would you stop now? There we go. Okay. Goodbye, Simoon. Hello, Rowana. Oh. We're so much stronger now than when we left. We have so much more stamina. Oof. So cool. Oh. All of our masks are on the statues. What happens if you pick the whale mask? What happens if you pick... What? Interesting. Oh, I'm so curious. But I'm not going to choose based on what I'm most curious about, which would be the whale ship mask, honestly. I'm going to pick based on what I want most for Sable as a character, and that is the Ibex mask. Do I want to choose the Ibex mask? Would I be happiest staying here with the Ibexi? Ooh, actually, hold on. I'm gonna go see what the little dialogue is for this. Atomic mask. On the downside, I may be a few hundred years too late for the job. But on the plus side, I look really good in it. Still, probably not enough to turn into a whole calling. Should I really choose this mask? No. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Here is what I know about the sandworm mask. 1, the last wearer died. 2, I found it in a reeking cave near the body of its maddened creator. 3, it appears to be made out of the flesh of baby worms. Is this the mask I like to choose? No. And then what about the chum mask? Where's that? Is it not an option? Do I want to choose the Shade of Ecria mask? Oh, that's an option too. I don't see the chum mask. Strangely. I would honestly... Oh, there it is. I was like, I would expect that to be here. I'm very curious what happens if you pick those, but I am going to pick the Ibex mask. How could I go anywhere else when all I want is here? The gliding is freedom and 1,000 little moments with 100 different people, but it is also lonely, and travel is only really as good as the ones you travel with. I want to walk the path of the Ibex, and I want to do it with Jody, with Driss, with Hilal and Sizzo, and yes, even with Saima. It's easy to get used to a place and stop seeing the joy in it, or to imagine that you've been somehow cast in a life so boring it can't possibly be worth exploring further. But going into the world beyond made me better love the small one I have here. I will not just be Sable. I will be Ibexi. And I will be proud. I think that's what I want. Yes, this is it. I don the mask of the Ibexi. It fits perfectly. That was lovely. What an absolutely beautiful game. Hello again. That was stellar. I'm curious what happens if we pick any of the other masks, especially the strange ones. Achievement unlocked. The gliding. And I'm assuming it takes us back to the menu. Yep. GG. Oh. What a beautiful game. I mean, I said it at the beginning, I said it in the middle, I said it like 5 minutes ago, but the world building of this game was so imaginative and compelling. I just wanted to exist in this world forever. But like, much like much like the gliding can't last forever, much like Sable has to pick something, stories don't last forever either, you know? Like, this game had to have an end. And I'm like, I'm feeling that feeling that you get at the end of a really good novel, where you're like desperate for more, you know? Like, I desperately want there to be more of this game, but I know also that that's as much game as there should be, right? And that's a special experience, I think. And I think it's made all the more poignant by it aligning with the story that the game is telling, right? That it is about going and exploring and experiencing and then coming back and letting it go. It's as much Sable's experience as a character as it is our experience as a player. And that's really powerful. That's really, it's well executed. I really liked that. I don't know what else to say. There were bugs. And the bugs were a little like frustrating at times. And I would love for a patch to sort of iron those rough spots out and, you know, get it a little less distracting. But I can't think of another game like this. I truly cannot. This Sable is a special game. I think, because I always give games a rating out of 10. I think I'm gonna. We can go back to this screen now. I think I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10 for the bugs. Were it not for the bugs, it'd be a 10 out of 10 easy. If it were just a little bit smoother, 10 out of 10. This is so close to being a perfect game. And I really wish I had more to say. I honestly, like, I wish I had something more insightful that I could say. Some hidden kernel of truth. But the game said everything that I think I would have to say. And I don't know. What is there to say? What is there to say? It's beautiful. It's evocative. It's amazing. Buy it. Play it, please. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description for you to go get it. I don't think I want another Sable game. Like, I don't want another game in this setting, necessarily. But I am excited to see what the developers do next. And I hope that they get infinity dollars to make whatever they want as their next game. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. YouTube, hello. We are at the end of a game, and that means I address you directly and say hi. I hope that you enjoyed this, obviously, as I do with everything I make. I tend not to make things for people to not enjoy them. But I do hope that you enjoyed. At the end of this video, if you feel like sticking around, there will be suggestions for other games that I have played for you to check out. I'm not entirely sure what they'll be as of this recording, so it'll be a surprise for both of us. But regardless, whether you stay and watch one of these other games or flit off to elsewhere in YouTube or decide that you have watched enough YouTube and it's time to go do something else, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. Thank you. And goodbye.